James Kaufman, World News Report today. Trump says we must focus all of our energy and might on election fraud. President Trump on Sunday demanded that his administration get tougher on election fraud, calling for all of our energy and might to be focused on the issue as the Department of Justice appears to be slow-walking the biggest threat to our nation. They slow-walk everything over there. Freshman House Representative Abe Hamadeth, representative of Arizona, sent a letter to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi last week calling for a formal investigation by the Department of Justice into allegations earlier this month. He believes he was cheated out of the Attorney General spot in Arizona by the current bunch. Quote, I've made my position very clear to the top officials at the White House that I'm going to keep pursuing this, he said. Now we have to see action.
This case, this witch hunt, because the fact that she received $200,000 to put to her legal defense fund to cover up the fraud in the election that she stole from you. I mean, talk more about that. Talk more about your election.
That's right. So it seems like the payments were done because to encourage her to go after the alternate electors from 2020. But the payments were given to her legal defense fund, challenging the results of the 2022 race that I was challenging, because we know that there was 9,000 uncounted ballots that they never counted, and majority, 70% of them were Republican. As you mentioned, it was decided by 280 votes, and the legal case took 2 years until ultimately they decided to the courts ordered the ballots to be burned and destroyed. So all the evidence is gone now. Conveniently, the day after I won my race for Congress, Jordan. So we know what the corruption is, and in Arizona, it's not just Chris Mays that seems to be having some corruption issues. It looks like Katie Hobbs, who is also the governor there. It looks like she's being possibly probed by the state legislature for some corruption as well. So, the Department of Justice, we need to utilize the tools that we have, because so many of these states, they know that they've been captured. And this is where the Department of Justice, they have U.S. attorneys, they have a public corruption unit. They have to use every single tool to go after these George Soros prosecutors, these left-wing prosecutors who have terrorized the American people for so long. And you're exactly right when you mentioned that the 60% of the machines going down in 2022, there's no justice for that either. Maricopa County is continuously not being held accountable for running shoddy elections. So I hope that my letter and what Christina Bobb uncovered leads to some indictments and leads to an investigation and ultimately a conviction, because the American people in Arizona deserves justice.
Let's get it done, Pam Bondi. Let's get something done. You've been in office for 10 months, and everything's just been swept under the rug. Obviously, you're compromised and sold out, and we may have to get somebody else into your position as soon as possible. God bless America. Please share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible. Bizarro World.